Hey everybody, this is Bert Burger, Sunova Surfboards, and now I'm going to take you through some of the design and performance features of our NITRO model shortboard. So the NITRO I would classify currently as our highest performing board in our shortboard range. It's basically a board that performs to the top end in all-round conditions. So a little bit of history on this board. It's very similar to a model that we have called the Pro, and it was my go-to high performance board when I lived in Western Australia. When I moved over to the East Coast, and particularly the Gold Coast, I found that the Pro really needed snapper on the biggest days to be firing to work. So what I ended up doing was I came up with a board which was identical, same outline, same rocker, but I just added a little bit of width in the middle. So there was just that little bit more surfboard to carry me in the slightly softer conditions. But still, it does need a decent wave. So the board in general has a very pleasant outline. It's got a lot of outline curve with a relatively narrow nose in comparison to a lot of modern boards now. As you run through into the tail, it's got this defined sort of bump flyer into a round tail. Then combined with a single concave that runs all the way through and quite a low rail. So what that does is the low rail gives it good sensitivity. The narrower nose means it's just out the way. Every time you put it on rail, it just wants to hook into the tightest turn. And with this bump through the tail end here, you're able to get a really square bottom turn. So as opposed to a board that has a cleaner outline, which means that you're angling and you eventually get vertical when you get to the lip, having the bump here means you can square off the bottom turn, so your approach to the lip is a lot more vertical, gives you a lot more body torque to be able to get right in the pocket and do a super tight hook and a super tight snap. So this board loves to go top to bottom, and it loves to be surfed really tight. You'll notice here too that the rail is actually quite low, quite refined. It's got your typical rail shape, tucked under, edge in the nose, coming through to a hard edge in the tail. And so the board is that. It's super sensitive. It needs a really good surfer to get the most out of this board. Like a guy that just stands on his board and waits for it to do something, that's not the board. You need to be the sort of person who is constantly pumping your board for speed and keeping the board moving, and it's going to be really quick off the mark. Another characteristic of this board is that as soon as you jump to your feet, you get a lot of speed out of your first pump. So it suits a really good surfer that surfs to a high standard, pretty much advanced to pro only. And if you're into competition and you want a good, reliable board that handles good waves, and you want to go surf Indo, surf the east coast of Australia, basically surf a lot of places around the world that have good quality waves, then the NITRO's the board.